What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are doing WWE Night of Champions review video, and then after this we're going to be doing Double or Nothing review all in the same video. Let's go. This weekend was fire for wrestling. Let's get into it. We started off the show with Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. Bawled my eyes out. I cried. AJ got hit with the pedigree. Clean fight, yeah. And then, he got pinned. And Seth Rollins is our new World Heavyweight Championship winner. And Triple H come out and, held him up, raises his hand. And then after that, it was the first women's match for not a title. It was Trish Stratus that picked up the victory. On the outside, Zoe Starks would hit a Z360. And she would send Becky back into the ring for Trish Stratus to hit a Stratusfaction and pick up the victory. So it's like they're starting a new faction, Zoe Stark and Trish Stratus. So that rivalry will continue on. And then it was the person who Saudi Arabia cheered for the most. It was Mustafa Ali versus Gunther, our Intercontinental Champion. And Gunther picked up the victory with the powerbomb. And then it was Asuka versus Bianca for the Raw Women's Champion. The biggest surprise of the night. Asuka picks up the victory and is our new Raw Women's Champion? I was like, what? No way. Wow. I predicted Bianca, but it's like, what? Oh my God. It's crazy to think about. She tried to miss Bianca the first time, but missed. And then she sprayed the mist on her hands, and Bianca tried to give Asuka the KOD, but Asuka put the mist in Bianca's face and knocked her out with the kick and pinned her. So it was like, oh my gosh, crazy. And we have a new Raw Women's Champion. That was a bigger surprise than the main event match. After that, it was the worst match of the night, in my opinion. Rhea Ripley versus Natalya. In about 2 minutes, for about 2 minutes, Natalya was distracted by Dominic, and Rhea Ripley would swing in, hit her at the ropes, and all of that, and would, in the end, hit her with the Riptide, and it was like, wow, that was not very cool. But yeah, she just hit her with the Riptide. Why is Natalya even in that match? She didn't deserve it. I think she sucked, in my opinion. After that, it was a match a lot of people were waiting on. Cody with the broken arm versus Brock Lesnar. Cody Rhodes would lose. Brock Lesnar picked up the victory. Brock had the Kimura lock in for 5 to 10 minutes in this match, and Cody would eventually just fall asleep, He'd get knocked out, and I was like, wow, okay. And then the last one, the main event I was waiting for. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. It was Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. In the end, the Usos would come in, attack Sami and KO. Sami would be in front of Solo, right? And the Usos go to super kick Sami. Sami ducks, and they super kick Solo. I was like, what? And then Roman's on the outside, and he looks up, and I guess that's all he saw. He didn't see Sami duck. All he saw was them super kicking Solo. So Roman was like, why would you do this to me? And Roman got back in the ring, and he got in the face of Jimmy, and, or not Jimmy, he got in the face of Jay, and he was pushing him against the ropes over here, right? And then all we hear is, the little clap, and you know what happens. Oh, Roman. Jimmy finally did it. He super kicked Roman. Wow. I was like, oh my God, thank the Lord. But yeah, in the end, they would hit her with the stunner and the hit Solo with the stunner and the haluva kick to pick up the victory, and to retain their the Raw Tag Team Champions. So yeah, Very cool, and I'm so glad Jimmy turned on. Let's go to Double or Nothing. Let's get it set up right now. All right, we're here with Double or Nothing AEW. Of course, it happened last night. Very cool. But as I'm recording this, it was tonight. So yeah, very cool. So let's go. Before the show started, this is what happened. It was Hook, Hook, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy versus, who was it? Ethan Page and the Gun Club. But Hook would solidify the victory, the FTW champion. And I found out that Hook is actually Taz's son. I found that out last night. And then it was a battle royal. It's at the start of the show, because that was in 0 Hour. But yeah, at the start of the show, it was the International Championship Battle Royal. It was Truck Taylor, Trent Boyetta versus Bandito versus Ari Daivari versus Tony Nese versus Big Bill versus Lee Moriarty versus Commander versus Kip Sabian versus The Butcher and The Blade versus Jay White versus Juice Robinson versus Dustin Rhodes versus Keith Lee versus Ricky Starks versus Ray Phoenix versus Pentagon Jr. versus Brian Cage versus Swerve Strickland versus Orange Cassidy. Of course, Orange Cassidy is our champion. And Orange Cassidy would pick up the victory. In the end, I kind of just set it up, but like little setups. But in the end, Orange Cassidy and Swerve would be on the ropes. Orange Cassidy would get Swerve Strickland dazed, and then Orange just like hit him with a small kick to the hand of Swerve, and he would fall off. So yeah, that was pretty kind of Orange Cassidy move there. So yeah, he retained his belt. But yeah, after that, it was a match that I was sort of looking forward to. It was Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole with the special guest enforcer Sabu. Sabu didn't really do anything. He took a little stunts. He went through a table, climbed up on the apron, but every time he would point to the ceiling and do his little taunt thing. It's like you were playing 2K23 and you try to get your person up and keep on playing. You do a little taunt and he stands up, you know? That's what it reminded me of. But Adam Cole and what's his name? Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong came out holding chairs with Sabu, like just running at him. And the brawl would start off, but in the end, Adam Cole would pick up the victory. He would tie chain to the hands of himself, Adam Cole would, and he'd tie it to Chris Jericho, and Adam Cole would just beat up Chris Jericho. He'd nail him in the head so many times that the ref had to call it. Aubrey Edwards had to call the match. That's how bad Jericho was, like, unconscious, you know? But, yes, after that, it was FTR versus Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Mark Briscoe kept on getting knocked out. He got knocked out by Jeff Jarrett. And then Aubrey Edwards tried to come in and save the count because Mark Briscoe was still out. And Aubrey Edwards come in, and then, like, I forgot her name, like Margaret Jarrett or Jennifer Jarrett, she was, like, blocking Aubrey from coming into the ring and pinning, and she hit her on top of the head with the guitar. But in the end, FTR would hit the Shatter Machine to pick up the victory, and Mark Briscoe would get the pin and help him out. And he like pushed Jeff Jarrett, and like helped out FTR in the match, and they retained their belts. After that, Ricky Starks backstage, the Bullet Club attacked. FTR run backstage and run him off of Ricky. and Ricky would need medical attention. And then it was Jericho and Paige backstage. They were talking, and they were like, Tony Khan, I need to talk to you. Did you see what happened? I need it to be, what was it? Chris Jericho and Saraya versus Adam Cole and DMD. That's what we need. So yeah, that might happen on Dynamite, but yeah. After that, it was the TNT Championship ladder match. A lot of great stunts. I came into this match thinking that Christian would win. Didn't happen. I really wanted Christian to win. I used to hate Christian just because he's Christian, but now he is okay with me, I guess. I didn't expect Wardlow to jump off of a ladder doing a swanton bomb through some tables to Luchasaurus, but it happened. I guess his mentor is Jeff Hardy, I guess. So, but in the end, Arn Anderson would kind of knock over the ladder a little bit, and Christian was on the top, and Christian falls to Wardlow, and Wardlow would catch him and powerbomb him, and Wardlow would climb up, grab the title, and celebrate. Very cool, right there. But yes, that was it. So Luchasaurus was out there trying to do it. But, yeah. After that, it was Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter. Tony Storm would pick up the victory in like 2 minutes because the Outcast kept on getting involved and stuff and would, just beat her up at her entrance and all that. Brawl outside the rings. And then eventually it was like just, a squash match, basically. And then it was the open house match. And me and my uncle called it. It was the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed accepted the House of Black's open house rules match. And in the end, there was a lot of taunting in this match. But the House of Black would hit the Black Mass, and by Malachi Black, and they would pick up the victory. And then after that was the TBS Championship match that was scheduled. It was Jade Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie. And she would hit the manhandle slam, basically, to pick up the victory. And then we hear Chris it was after this, but Chris Statlander would come out after, sorry about that. She would come out after Mark Briscoe was like, we accept any open challenges. TBS Championship doesn't have any specific rules. We need somebody else to do. We've took out everybody. And then we hear Chris Statlander's music, and the TBS Championship would get put up online, and she would get the new championship. Chris Statlander is our second ever TBS Championship. I'm trying to get the Chris Statlander figure. Maybe we'll do like a toy hunt or something, and I'll show y'all everything in my local GameStop. But yeah, new TBS Championship. She did like a tube storm pile driver type thing, but then it was a main event match. We had two main events. It was Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin versus MJF for the MJF's AEW World Championship. Sammy Guevara comes out with Ty Conti, and they announced she's pregnant. Very cool. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, we were in the MJF match. Sorry about that. Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti announced that she's pregnant. They pulled out the little piece of paper that showed that she's pregnant, and they made little signs in the entrance. Darby Allin comes out as Elvis. MJF comes out in a Triple H throne coming out down to the floor, and Jungle Boy just comes out regular, and everybody's hands are waving. So it was pretty funny. But in the end, Darby would have Jungle Boy dazed on the ground, about to hit a coffin drop. Darby didn't see it. MJF puts the AEW World Championship on top of Jack Perry, and Darby does the coffin drop, and MJF does the headlock takeover to pick up the victory and retain his belt, and he was celebrating and all that. But in the main event, I feel like the other match should have been the main event, but the Anarchy in the Arena match, it was insane. There was nails in Matt Jackson's foot, in the foot, in the mouth, and he got uppercutted by Claudio while there was nails in his mouth. Matt Jackson strapped dynamite to his Jordan and would hit a super kick on Jon Moxley. It was pretty cool. Don Callis comes out, Takeshita comes out and turns on the Elite and would, I guess join the Blackpool Combat Club. And in the end, they choked out Kenny Omega, and Wheeler Yuta rolled him up, I guess. So yeah, that was a very cool show. I really liked it. Everything about it. I'd give it like a 10, maybe. No, maybe an 8, maybe a 7. Somewhere in there. 8, 7, somewhere in there. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thank y'all guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you had an amazing day, and I hope your weekend was great, and let's go to Monday Night Raw tomorrow or whatever. So yeah, let's go right now.